but you never submit. You got staying power, stronger than cement. Trust me, all the hard times I ever seen. You got a high purpose, high calling. Even when you alone, you're still important. It might seem impossible, but just keep moving forward. It's not the destination, the journey is rewarded. Don't be a worrier, be a warrior. You'll be the winner at the end of the story, victorious. Doesn't matter where you start, you can win. Doesn't matter where you from, you can win. Doesn't matter if it's hard, you can win. You can win, you can win. You might have lost before, but you can win. When your back's against the wall, you can win. When it's 1 against 1,000, you can win. You can win, you can win. You might have. You are stronger than your fears and setbacks, never forget that. Nothing on this earth can overpower you. You got the strength to power through, living truth. Digging the roots, better Bruce. Dig deep in your soul, you got a lot to use. A lot to lose now, you can never lose if you never quit. Overwhelmed and submerged, but you never submit. You got staying power, stronger than cement. Trust me, all the hard times I ever seen. You got a high purpose, high calling. Even when you alone, you're still important. It might seem impossible, but just keep moving forward. It's not the destination, the journey is rewarded. Don't be a worrier, be a warrior. You'll be the winner at the end of the story, victorious. Doesn't matter where you start, you can win. Doesn't matter where you from, you can win. Doesn't matter if it's hard, you can win. You can win, you can win. You might have lost before, but you can win. When your back's against the wall, you can win. When it's 1 against 1,000, you can win. You can win, you can win. You might have. You are stronger than your fears and setbacks, never forget that. Nothing on this earth can overpower you. You got the strength to power through, living truth. Digging the roots, better Bruce. Dig deep in your soul, you got a lot to use. A lot to lose now, you can never lose if you never quit. Overwhelmed and submerged, but you never submit. You got staying power, stronger than cement. Trust me, all the hard times I ever seen. You got a high purpose, high calling. Even when you alone, you're still important. It might seem impossible, but just keep moving forward. It's not the destination, the journey is rewarded. Don't be a worrier, be a warrior. You'll be the winner at the end of the story, victorious. Doesn't matter where you start, you can win. Doesn't matter where you from, you can win. Doesn't matter if it's hard, you can win. You can win, you can win. You might have lost before, but you can win. When your back's against the wall, you can win. When it's 1 against 1,000, you can win. You can win, you can win. You might have. You are stronger than your fears and setbacks, never forget that. Nothing on this earth can overpower you. You got the strength to power through, living truth. Digging the roots, better Bruce. Dig deep in your soul, you got a lot to use. A lot to lose now, you can never lose if you never quit. Overwhelmed and submerged, but you never submit. You got staying power, stronger than cement. Trust me, all the hard times I ever seen. You got a high purpose, high calling. Even when you alone, you're still important. It might seem impossible, but just keep moving forward. It's not the destination, the journey is rewarded. Don't be a worrier, be a warrior. You'll be the winner at the end of the story, victorious. Doesn't matter where you start, you can win. Doesn't matter where you from, you can win. Doesn't matter if it's hard, you can win. You can win, you can win. You might have lost before, but you can win. When your back's against the wall, you can win. When it's 1 against 1,000, you can win. You can win, you can win. You might have.
Let's go. Welcome to another legendary edition of the Walk in This Way's Impact Voice podcast. I'm your host, Furman Jackson Jr. And listen, if you're tapping in right now, you are exactly where you need to be tonight. This platform is powered by Gateway Media 8082, where purpose meets power and voice turn into impact. Now, tonight, we're not just having a conversation. We're stepping into vision. We're stepping into strategy. We're stepping into next level thinking. Because my guest tonight is not average. He's not basic. He's a builder, a strategist, an entrepreneur who knows how to turn vision into reality. So whatever you are right now, I need you to tap in, lock in, share this live, and get ready because this is about to be a powerful conversation. Without further ado, let's welcome to the platform Nathaniel Moore. Nathaniel, welcome to the Walking This Way's Impact Voice podcast.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, man.
Man,
I definitely appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, I appreciate you taking time out to put up the schedule to come on here tonight. We had the opportunity to interact with each other, email, social media wise. We set it up. You're
Yeah.
here. It's an honor and a privilege to sit with you. It's good to see men of color doing something very positive, very productive. You know, I give it to the ladies for holding
Definitely.
it down, but we got to showcase the men as well. Because first of all, we're made in the image in the image and light of the Most High. We're made in God's image, and I know Scripture lets
Absolutely.
us know that we are God. We are children of the Most High. So it's time for us to be in the forefront, like we are supposed to be since the day He formed us. So, Nate, go
Right.
ahead and use yourself, man. Take us behind the scene who you are. We can get into some healthy conversation. Hey, the mic is yours.
So I'm born and raised from Brooklyn, New York. Currently, I live in the Albany, New York area. I've moved around a little bit. Now I am literally in the process of building what I call a media empire. And so at this level, I'm looking to build a foundation which will be a legacy that my kids and anybody with our name can carry on. And so I'm an advocate, I'm an entrepreneur. Anybody that knows me knows that when it comes to something that I see that's unjust done to our people, I'm definitely going to speak out. So if you don't know nothing else about me, you know that when it comes to minorities and our people, I'm definitely going to speak up all the time.
Man, that's what's up. Cause I know at times it's all about being the voice for the voiceless, and I know a lot of times people have been entrapment with fear, fear
Hmm.
of speaking their mind, fear of they say rejection. But we do have those who will fight for the voiceless, and that's an honor and a privilege to know that. And I know you mentioned you are in the media world, the media empire. What made you want to get in the media? What sparked interest for you to dive off into the media arena?
So like I said, I've been in media for a long time. Um, and what really is my fascination, I'm what drives me is the ability to orchestrate behind the scenes so people can see a particular image or a project. And so I've always been a person who has um had like administrative as far as gifts. Like that's my in church, that was my gift, administrative gifts. And so I'm a person that I look at everything from the big picture. I look at everything from the big picture. And so because I've been in media for so long, I start to kind of adapt certain personality traits because of that. Um, and that's literally like a part of who I am. And now it is just it's like mesh. Like when I'm always one of the biggest key things that I share with anybody that's an entrepreneur, especially when you're a public figure, whether you want to or not, you always have to move like cameras are on you. You're a public figure. You always have to. Like you don't have a minute to be off your game because if you're a leader, if people follow you, if you have influence, you're always on. Like you never can like, oh, today I'm gonna just turn off. And no, every day is another day where somebody's watching you.
Yeah, most definitely. I know you mentioned that you are architect, right? So I got some. This is gonna open up some architect mindset questions. So, Nate, you try yourself as an architect of vision. What does that mean in real day to day execution?
When you have people who have vision, I'm talking about like legit vision. I'm talking about somebody who's dreaming. But when you have a legit vision, a lot of times it's bigger than the people around you will be able to. I can't see that. Um, a lot of times, what your vision is, you'll almost be have this crazy idea and it won't make sense. And you'll know when it's a real vision that's going to help bring out your purpose because you'll be like, there's nobody I can talk to about it. There's nobody I can, all my peers, they looking at me like crazy. That ain't never gonna happen. And when you have vision, you have to be comfortable standing by yourself because a lot of times people will not see your vision because it was given to you. And so one of the mistakes that we make is that we expect people to see our vision. They can't. It's our vision. If they want to follow us, then we have to show them a roadmap along the journey. But the vision is only for the visionary. You can't expect them to see it. It was God gave it to you while you was sleeping, while you was dreaming. It was you. And the frustrated part that a lot of people get into is not knowing how to articulate the vision to those that follow them.
And that really does make sense. And I know a lot of people that have vision, they have dreams, and I know. Big shout out to Miss K. I had her on this program. I had her on the show Saturday. We was talking about that, and what came up, Nate, was imaginations. I know at church we had these wild, crazy imaginations of being something one day. And I know as we go through life and we grew in life, we allow negative words, we allow negative things, setbacks to damper those imaginations. We know that God gives imaginations. So what would you
Right.
say about that? What would you say to the person that may be watching this right now on reliving, getting back that imagination, get back to that dream, get back to what you were destined to be, and not allowing circumstances or setbacks stop you from excelling in this world we in today?
You're never really gonna be able to tap in until you're 100% comfortable with yourself. That's when you'll be able to make the most you'll be able to have the most progress, because there's a different rhythm, there's different flow that you have in life when you become comfortable with who you are. And so a lot of the stuff that I've said publicly, a lot of the causes or the things that I stand for publicly, it isolates me from people that I thought I would be around, because they don't see it the way I do. And when you become a visionary, when you try to get out that rut, you have to be able to say, this is my point of view, and I'm going to stand tall on it, whether it's popular or not. When you have a vision and when you feel like you're creating and is people want the vision, you want the process to be easy. No, when you get no real visionary that you can see in the history of mankind, no matter what it is, had an easy road. Everybody, Steve Jobs for Apple, he had tremendous adversity. Ted Turner, who started CNN, they said a 24-hour news network will never work. CNN is the gospel. So a lot of times we're not prepared for the fight for the outcome we want. We okay, I want to get that, but you built to go through what it takes to get that? And in this world that we live in now, social media makes people think that certain things are just easy. It makes they make it seem like, oh, you can just do this. No, 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 no. You Just because you have a platform and you can practice and you can emulate, it doesn't mean that you can do that. And there are some people that just when they're comfortable being them, it is that's when you all your momentum picks up when you're you. You know why? Because you're the most comfortablest. You're comfortable. You don't gotta fake nothing. You don't gotta be pretending. You're flowing. You're in that zone. You're in a vibe.
Yeah, most definitely. And that's what it's all about. So that leads up to the next question, Nate. At what point in your journey do you realize you weren't just building businesses, you were building systems and ecosystems?
Um, During COVID, I had a like a soup like COVID was bad in some aspects. It ruined my business. So after COVID, I've kind of had to rebrand and rebuild. Um, and this is one of the tough parts about vision. So when you become an entrepreneur, you either sell a product or you sell a service, one or the other. You're going to sell a product or you're going to sell a service. People who sold products didn't lose that much footing because products are harder to come by than services. Services are easier because right now, if you're in California and I'm in New York and you need a flyer, I can do it and then email it to you.
Hmm.
But if you needed shoes, I have to either give it to you in person or I gotta mail it to you. So it's not instantaneously. And so because of COVID, I've had to rebuild. And in that rebuild, I said, you know what? I want what I do to mean something. I want people later on down the line, like, you know what? Yo, bro was really different. Like look what he created, you know? And a lot of people always ask you, like, yo, who's your competition like in your area or in your circle or peers? And I said, to be honest with you, I don't have competition from my point of view because I look up to a person who's already like a billionaire, who's already my if I had to look up to somebody, it would be Ted Turner. He's a mogul in the media world. Mogul. everything from TBS to the Cartoon Network, CNN, Atlanta Braves, Atlanta Falcons. He's a mogul. And so at the end of the day, when I'm gone, I've been dead 50 years, and they're still gonna be able to say, yo, listen, bro really was doing X, Y, and Z. Bro really made an impact. And it's a difference with, okay, I can start a business and say, you know what, I'm gonna sell hats. I'm gonna sell Yankee hats. I'm gonna give Furman a hat. I'm gonna get a hat. Everybody get hats. That's a business. When you sell systems, this is something that's going to continue and go on forever. It's going to be 100 years from now. What I'm building is going to be here from now.
Like that. And I know you mentioned that when people ask you what's your competition, you think that's the wrong mindset for people to go into business. The first thing they ask, what is your competition?
I think one of the things that I don't like about competition is that when you compete, you miss an integral part of the puzzle. Because so it's like, I'm in media, I have a podcast. You're in media, you have a podcast. When you come together, I can see something that you didn't, and you can see something that I didn't. So it makes the journey easier when you put multiple people together. When you go against each other, what you do is, it's like you say, you know what? I got $100 million, but if I team up with Furman, I can make 200 million. But I don't want to make the 200 million because I want to beef.
Mm,
That's what you're doing. You're purposely deciding that I don't want to grow because my ego is more important than my purpose.
mm. That really makes sense. They really do, and that leads up to the next question: what separates a visionary thinker from someone who can actually build something that lasts? I know you mentioned that earlier.
Um, your durability, your tenacity, like you, especially now with what we're going through. Um, and I'm not saying this for anything racially motivated, but the strongest person as far as will, as far as like sheer will, the strongest person in America is a black entrepreneur from the hood. Think about it. Black entrepreneurs from the hood who've created something, because one, you've defied odds that a lot of your people that's your age done died in prison, done overdosed. Like, you overcame so many things. That's one. Two, you had a vision that separates from everybody you was around, because most people that you were around, it until you started growing, wasn't business owners. They were average Joes. And there's nothing wrong with being an average Joe, but that's still, so you defeated odds, you had a vision, and now you have the articulation, you have the fortitude, and you have the drive to make it happen. Most people don't have enough patience to go through certain things. Like, you hit one roadblock and now you give up. No, my my personal, and it could be ego, but my personal mindset is, no matter what situation I'm faced with, I never can be okay with not finding a solution. If somebody calls and say, listen, can you find da 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 da? Even if I can't find it right there, I have to get that. Like, I never like to end communication without having solutions. When you have a problem that can't get answered, to me, that's a person who's not ready to toughen it out.
Yeah, I like that. I like that response that you put out there. 'Cause that leads up to the next question too, as well. Nate, he said, "I like got this. A lot of people have ideas, but few
Mhm.
execute. What's the first thing you look at when someone comes to you with a vision?"
How much have they done without earning money?
Mm,
Have you grind this out without making the dime? Were you pushing this brand hard body before you made any money? Was you pumping it, wearing the t-shirts, and was you pushing that brand loud and proud for everybody to see and operating it? If your mindset was not penthouse corner office until you got the penthouse corner office, then you playing around. You have to already have the billionaire mindset before you make the billion.
yeah, I do. I like that. In other words, speak those things, be those they were. And as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. I know we're in
Absolutely.
the times now, especially when people don't know you like that. You see a lot of people now they feel like they are entitled to
Hmm.
something. Like I don't know you from Adam, but you want me to give up my hard earned money to something that I don't know anything about. I don't know
Hmm.
you. But if you're serious about this thing, like, hey, I'm starting out here, I'm giving you a free product
Right.
and I'm giving you this free product. How you like it will determine where you gonna become a client or somebody probably see one time. But we know that if you gain that one person with your product, with your platform, they're gonna
Hmm.
tell someone else about it, and then before you know it, you get this chain reaction going. If that makes sense.
Right. No. So statistically, when it comes to like marketing, guerrilla marketing, the statistic is for every one person that hates your business, they're going to tell 25 people. For every one person that likes your business, they're going to tell five people. And that's why it's important to always, when you're dealing with a customer or somebody who could be a potential customer, you have to be able to, even though you may not like what a person does or what a person says, you still have to be able to be a professional. Um, because you, again, one wrong comment, can,
Yeah, they were big shout out to
let me see,
Mahogany asking the question: do you have to grind and not make money? It's two questions, or that's request. Yeah, that's a question.
prerequisite.
Yeah.
Um, you, if grinding to make money is not a prerequisite, but you can tell when a person comes to you with a vision and they're looking to collaborate or they're looking to get help or they're looking for whatever. Before I can join you, I want to look and see what you have already done by yourself because I don't want to. I don't like coming on projects where I have to do all of the work. If we're collaborating, then we both should bring something to the table. But what happens is a lot of times people are brand new and expect that everybody who's experienced wants to tap collaborate you. You can't because in business you have to have equal footing. Like if you want a person to if I'm an artist and I want you to do a song on my album, and I got 1 million album sales and you got 200,000, I'm not benefiting from that. You benefiting because I bring more to the table. So it's important again, and that doesn't mean that their vision or what they're doing isn't important or isn't. It just means that you're not at the same level. You're not at the same playing field. And so that's what I look for when somebody brings a vision or anything. I want to see what you've already accomplished on your own to see if you're serious or is this just like an overnight, thing you want to do.
Right. And I agree with that. And it said grind and not make money first.
At some point you have to be able to okay with doing that. There's no business that's going to always succeed the first time around and make money the first time around. Everybody who's multi-billionaires will tell you the first few times they failed, whether it goes from Microsoft, whether it goes to Amazon, whether it goes to Google. All of these guys started businesses, they failed a few times and then they finally got it correct and now they're billionaires.
Let me see. And then she be shot back to that made sense. That made sense when it comes to collaboration, but I can dig. So that was she said that made sense when it comes to
Yeah, yeah.
collaboration. So yeah, I like that because that's what the mindset it is. Because I was it was a clip of Michael Jordan and he was doing something how individuals now they want to put the brand before they put in the work. Because back
Right,
in the day, you had to put in the work, and once you put in the work, the brand came along, which means the finances, the endorsements, the sponsor came right along beside it. Why? Because they seen you putting in the work first,
right,
without even
right,
getting a dime. Because think about it, in order for it to be the goat, you have to put in the work when you're not getting a dime for it. That means be the first one in, last one out. When everybody else is
right,
partying, you working. When everybody else is goofing off, you working. And but in that in due time, in due season, that endorsement, that sponsorship, that money is gonna start coming in. Why? Because they watch you put in the work. Because that's how
right,
people. That's how they got. That's what Michael Jordan got there today because of the work that he put in. The Tom
right,
Brady, the LeBron James, them guys put in the work. The Steve Jobs, the Ted Turners, Them guys put
Right.
in the work to get where they are today. It was not no
Right.
overnight thing. While you partying, they working. You know what I'm saying? While you goofing off, they working. And
Definitely.
a lot of people, and I say this time a lot of times too, Nate. Individuals today, they want to be successful, but they want to be comfortable at the same time. I mean, they feel I don't have to be out
Right.
here and do anything. I'm entitled to it. But in order for you to get where you want to be at in life, you're gonna have to make the sacrifices. What you say about that?
Absolutely. Um, and I forgot where I heard this at. A lot of the times people want success, but they don't want the grind. So it's like you wanna come to the game and say, Coach, put me in, but you ain't come to practice.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, you want to come to the game and get right in, but you didn't come to the gym. You wasn't in the free throw line. You wasn't, and that's what people want. Because again, social media, it puts everybody's ideas in front of everybody. So it looks like it's easy. So everybody feel like, you know what? I'm gonna go do this because it's easy. No, it just you see the end result. You don't see what happened in the midst before you got to that product, before you got to that. A lot goes into, for example, I've worked in radio stations, I worked in TV stations, I worked in news stations. There's a lot going to production meetings, a lot goes into the system of providing news to the community. A lot go, whether you're in studio room A, you're in the producer studio, like, you gotta, gotta put your earpiece in, you gotta, somebody has to feed you information, somebody gotta do the countdown. So there's a lot of work that goes in. All you see is, hey, listen, it's gonna be 35 degrees on Monday. That's all you see. But behind the scenes, there was a lot of work just to give you that 5 minute news segment.
yeah. And I do believe this, Nate. In all that you do, you should put in 1,000% in all that you do.
Right,
From productivity, from whatever that you're doing, you should put in 1,000% in what you're doing. Because I believe in working in the spirit of essence, striving in the spirit of essence, especially in your business. This is your business. This is your brand. This is your
right,
baby. Blood, sweat, and tears, right? And having that championship mentality, having that dog like mentality in order to win, overcome. Where you may not get one like, you may not get one share, you may not get one view, but you keep pushing, you keep grinding, and in the meantime, cultivating your skills, learning
right,
from others. Look at the ones who are already there where you want to be at, and learn from them, and
right,
learn how to strategize, and learn how to do in the process of working and striving towards perfection and having fun at the same time, knowing, hey, my day is coming, my time is coming, and keep pushing,
absolutely,
keep striving, and don't give up, and don't waver. And a lot of time we do waver, and we get discouraged, and we get frustrated. We do, but we got to know what's the will at hand. What why are we doing this for? And we know
right,
that it's gonna pay off.
right, right, right.
And then we're gonna move on to this one. We're gonna be talking about some idea execution over ideas. You know, you gotta put in the work, right? So my next question
Mhm.
to you is, Nate. A lot of people have ideas, but few execute. What's the first thing you look at when someone comes with you? Well, we talked about
No,
that one. Yeah,
yeah,
we come
we
with the
get that
vision.
one. Yeah,
Come, yeah, we did out.
yeah.
Well, got into some good stuff. But when this week, we're gonna talk about what are the biggest mistakes entrepreneurs make when trying to scale too fast. What are the biggest mistakes entrepreneurs make when trying to scale too fast?
They're not detailed in their planning. So when you're planning and a lot of a lot of times entrepreneurs don't know how to calculate profits and loss. They don't know how to calculate. Like it's like when you do your taxes, you have to have a detailed, itemized list on certain things. And so when you're starting a business and you're trying to grow and you're trying to expand, you have to be able to really say, "Let me." It's like putting a business plan together. You have to be very detailed and articulate, and to articulate what your business is going to be. That's the first one. They're not detailed enough. They just do the basic, they throw some stuff on paper and then they move on. That's one. Second is you're probably not fully prepared for what you're, because a lot of times people want to learn on the fly. If you know you're going to open a business, you need to learn everything within your arena, in your field. You need to be a master at it. You need I need to be able to walk up to you at any point. No, you could be in the mall, you could be in Walmart. I should be able to walk up to you and say, "Tell me what your business goal is. Tell me what your business vision is. Off the dome, no paper, no nothing. Off the dome, what's your business plan? What's your mission? What's your goals? What's your profit and loss? Like, you should be able to tell me that off the dome if you are the founder of that business. Why? Because this is your baby. This is like everything that you've created. It's supposed to be your blood, sweat, and tears. When you spend that much time with something, you're gonna know everything about it. When a person cannot tell you about their vision, they can't execute the vision, they can't articulate the vision, it's like then you ain't really ready. And again, it's nothing wrong with not being ready. You just have to know, like, okay, I got to do a little more work. I'm not really, I'm not really there yet. I think that's the two biggest things: not being detailed enough and not understanding fully ahead of time. A lot of time we like to do things, we like to do CP time. We
Hmm.
wait till the last minute. No, you got to be fully aware. Again, would you want to go to Burger King if they didn't know where the burgers and the buns was at and the cheese? Like, what y'all doing here? How you running a business, but you don't know where nothing, you know what I'm saying? You lost.
Yeah.
So that's how I see that.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Then it lead up to the next one. How do you take something absent like vision and turn it into structure, operational machine?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, I think the best way is you have to lean on. Um, yeah, if you have a solo business and it's just you by yourself, that's different. But if you have a team, um, that's where you have to know how to use your team. I read a book by former chairman and CEO of GE, Robert Welch, no, Jack Welch. And he said that when you're a supervisor or a manager or a leader, you're supposed to be able to know how to do the basic function of everybody you supervise. So my thing is, if you understand that, if you understand everybody's role, you can put them into place and help them to do their role. And once you kind of get that delegation down and you're utilizing your team, the workload becomes lesser and you can see the bigger picture. So you're not doing the day-to-day stuff, you're doing the overall big picture. If you're bad at delegation, then you'll be bad at expanding. You'll be bad at development because a person that has to micromanage can never see the big picture because you're always inside the eye of the storm.
Mm, I like that.
You
I
like
will.
you got to be able to see the whole picture in order for you to direct the boat. Like if you steer in this car, you got to be able to see this road.
Yeah, that's true, and it makes sense because I really. I'm gonna skip that one because you already answered that question. Like look behind the scene, you already answered that one. But I'm going to do this one. What are your non-negotiable system every CEO must have in place to grow substantially?
Two things: got to have a good system and a good structure. You have to have your structure, meaning your hierarchy, what roles people assume, what's their responsibility, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then you have to have a good system. For example, when you go to McDonald's, no matter who goes to work, the system is always the same. The person changes. You never change what you do. You put it's a system. So whether you there, whether John there, whether Craig there, it's gonna work. And that's how you know you got a good system. You need structure, the hierarchy, and then you need a good system.
Okay, I like that. And I'm this one too. Next question is: can you break down how you transform chaos inside an organization into clarity and capacity?
I worked for a company locally here in Albany, um, a newspaper company. And when I got there, I came on as the role as the chief operating officer. And so when I came on, I had to learn the system. I had to learn everything. I had to observe first. You can't come in and just start making changes. You don't know what's going on. You don't know who's the players, you know what I'm saying? So I had to look and observe, see who's doing what, see what's working, see what's not, see everybody's strengths, see their weaknesses. Once you know what's working and what's not, and everybody's strengths and weaknesses, then you can start to rearrange the pieces on the board based on strengths and weaknesses, based on, and I think that is, the best way to turn chaos into something that's got momentum. You can't just come and say, you know what, I'm hiring you, I'm firing you. Like, no, you got to wait. You got to see things out. Okay, this is what's good. This is what's bad. She's strong in this. She's weak in that. And then you make the adjustments so that everything is kind of balanced. Everything is kind of because a lot of times people come into new roles with ego problems. So you want to puff your chest out and you want to drop the hammer, but you are ruining a good system because you didn't take time to learn it. You didn't take time to see what's happening already. These John and Susan could be working good together, but you come split them up off of your own ego, and now that flow is down because you broke up people that had good chemistry on the job. So, you got to come in, you got to watch, see what's good or bad, and you got to see people's strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Having that mentality. That's a powerful mentality, Nate to have. So we finna get off get to something else. Our next segment is transforming entrepreneurs into CEOs. So I'm gonna say that again.
Hmm.
Our next segment, transforming entrepreneurs into CEOs. So everybody said they want to be a CEO. Everyone said they want to be an entrepreneur, but it's the transformation, it's the mindset. So we're finna get off into this one. What's the biggest mindset shift someone has to make to go from entrepreneur to true CEO?
Responsibility. Um, so the one thing that I always say when it comes to leadership, leadership is not about responsibility. It's not about capability. It's about responsibility. So meaning it's not what you can do, it's what you can handle. So when you're an entrepreneur, you're starting your brand, you're getting off the ground. You become the CEO mind when you start learning how to get people to follow your vision and work for you.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot become a CEO until you either have some type of collaboration where people are working with you or for you. If not, you're just an entrepreneur. Now you can have a CEO vision, a CEO mindset, but you don't activate that CEO person until you're able to get people under you, working for you, working with you, collaborating in conjunction with all of that.
Basically, as you was talking, they made me think about the Last Dance documentary, and
Hmm.
when Phil Jackson became the Bulls head coach after Doug Collins got fired, and he was breaking it down on when Jordan came to the league in the '80s, and we know
Hmm.
Doug Collins was the head coach, but the whole scheme was built around Jordan. Jordan
Right,
had a scoring title and everything, but he could never get over the hump of going to reach his destination, and that was to become a champion, right? Until
right,
Phil Jackson came in, and Phil Jackson implemented the triangle offense. But
right,
he didn't just give it to Phil. Actually worked it out, the triangle, before he implemented it to Jordan them, because he was
right,
already behind the scenes working on the triangle offense. So when he implemented to Jordan, like, hey, this system, the old system, yeah, it was getting you the titles and accolade, but it was not helping you reach your goal. This
right,
system that I'm implementing is going to require you to what? Incorporate your teammates, which I'm going to teach you how to trust your team. Jordan didn't have no ego. Jordan was all about, hey, whatever you got that's going to help me make it to the next destination, I'm all in. But
right,
this is something that he was already working on behind the scenes before he implemented that
right,
before the people. And that made me think about what you was talking about, working behind the scenes, implement this system, studying the people, because a system is on design with for certain individual that's going to help master that. So what you do, you study the strength and the weakness of this person. Okay, I can see that this person is going to fit this system. Okay, this person is not going to fit this system. So that's very important to strategize where you
hmm,
going. A lot of times, Nate, what we do is as people, we make stuff so personal, and at the end of the day, it has to be business. Even though
right,
we may be tight and we may be ace boon coons, but you don't fit the vision, you don't fit the business. And I know a lot of times we allow our personal feelings to get in the way of our business feelings. If that makes sense.
right, right, right. I get what you're saying.
So what you want to say about that?
Um, that's something that we have to learn how to work around. Um, because one of the things that I've been noticing within like the past 2, 3 years is that we are being educated more when it comes to mental health And so we're seeing a lot of more episodes now because we're being educated more. So now we know what things mean. So when you see a viral video, I seen a viral video today of a girl walking in McDonald's and just throwing stuff behind the cash register. I'm talking about just pulling drawers and dumping buckets and throwing food. And then she walked out like, yeah, y'all gonna learn to play with me. I'm like, that's, you got real issues. So a lot of times we have to be able to discern, this person is a little off. So you have to know and how to, as an entrepreneur, you have to know how to deal with multiple personalities, because you may get somebody that's coming that's sane, then somebody coming that's not, then somebody coming that's up. Come on, you have to be all things to all people.
Yeah, especially you have to let someone go. That's when you
Hmm.
have to. And I know that's a lot of people don't want to do that because a lot of people have fear of letting someone go because they don't know how that person will react to them letting them
Right.
go. But hey, that's part of business. But at the end of the day, you have to protect your business and have to protect your brand. It's like it's not about you. It's all about the product. It's all about the brand, right? Because
Right.
at the
People
end of the
come back
day,
and do that. I don't know why. I don't know why people do that. Sorry. Good.
nah, you good, you good. But I mean, it's important. If you look at these major corporations, when they let you go, they let you go. They're
Yeah,
not.
you done.
Yeah, they're not feeling sorry for you. They just be keeping a bucket. They're not feeling sorry for you. It is what it is. It's nothing
See
personal.
ya.
It's just business.
Yeah. That's how he said on New Jack City. He said, "There's always business, never personal."
And that's true. And it's always business, never personal. So that leads us to the next question. What habits or disciplines separate CEOs who's scared from those who stale? What habits or disciplines separate CEOs who's scared from those who stale? So what's separate the two?
When you aren't, when you're not disciplined enough to constantly be learning, um, a lot of times people have the wrong idea of being an entrepreneur, a CEO, or being the boss, or being an HNIC, or whatever you want to call it. When you're the boss, you always have to have the answers or be able to fix it or be able to give some type of input. So you always have to be finding out, you always have to stay abreast on, new technology or new, whatever relates to your business. You always have to be learning statistics and analytics and meetings and like networking. Here's the one thing. If you talking to a person, they're entrepreneur, they're a business owner, they're a CEO, and they're not networking, no, something is wrong. Networking is like, it's like taking the blood out your veins. You're gonna die. You know, networking. That's one. Two, they're not constantly learning, and three, they cannot. They're not people persons.
Mm. Yeah, I
Like
like that.
when CEOs, you're supposed to be able to lead. How can you lead when you don't like people?
Yeah, that don't make sense. You hear a lot of people say I'm an introvert. How can you be an introvert? You say you're a business owner, but I'm an introvert. You have to get out there to the people. The people are the
Right.
ones who's gonna pay your salary. The people are the ones who's gonna pay your bills at the end of the day. So them the ones you have to get out to. So we're gonna get into our next segment. Purpose and profit is gonna be our next
Hmm.
segment. So this gonna need the next question. You operate at the intersection of corporate strategy and community impact. How do you balance profit with purpose?
To be honest with you, as of, I want to say, the last 2 3 years, I have made it my mind that I'm always going to stand on what I believe is legit and what I believe is the truth. And I've decided that I may have to turn down some opportunities. I may have to deny myself this connection, because if I can't, what I know to be true and stand on that, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna water down my message so I can fit in, or so I can no. I know that because I'm an advocate for social justice, there's a lot of people that just won't like me, and I'm okay with that. I'm 100% okay with that, and that is the mindset that I've taken. And it doesn't mean money to it. Of course, I want to make money, but money isn't what drives me. So it's never. I have to balance that. I am 100% about impact, because a lot of people have money, but you have no influence or impact. And it's like you got all that, but when and in this day and time, a person who has no influence or no impact in this society is useless.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree 1000%. And that ties into what you were saying. It ties into the next one. Do you believe every brand should have a mission beyond money?
Absolutely. Um, I think that when your business is something that you're passionate about, something that you're very educated on, something that you have a lot of experience with, the money won't be what drives you. The money will only be what drives you when it's something that you have to go and learn that you don't know, that you're not sharp in, because then you're like, I got to do it for the money because I have no other tie to this, I have nothing invested in this. When you're invested in something, it means more to you than the money, because again, when you create something from the ground up, grassroots, that means everything to a person. Whether most entrepreneurs don't even turn a profit, but it's their brand and they're always going to push it. Some entrepreneurs don't even sell product; they just sell, like they they make images and they make content, but they don't sell nothing,
Mm.
because they don't do it for money. They do it for brand recognition. They do it just for the clout. Some people do it just for the elitism. Some people do it for the reverence, and that means sometimes it means more to people to say, you know what, I've impacted people in a good way versus saying, oh, I'll make a lot of money.
Yeah, I like that. I like that answer. And my next question for you as well, Nate. How can businesses build something that endures instead of just trends? We see a lot of time people, you had them fly my nights and you just got those who
Mhm.
endure. So how can business build something that endures instead of just trends?
One, you have to be comfortable being who you are, because when you're comfortable being who you are, you'll get the best version of you. The best version of you have the best ideas, the best strategies, the best blueprints, the best plans. And when you produce the best plans, you produce the best results.
Man, I like that. So our next step we're gonna get into, Nate, building movements, not
Hmm.
moments. Building movements, not moments. So this is the next question I'm gonna ask you. You said I don't chase moments, I build movements. What does building a movement? What about building a movement actually requires?
Um, you got to have passion. You got to have passion. You got to have tenacity. You got to be, your endurance got to be crazy. Like, movements are built off of passion. So if, like, when Harvey Weinstein got arrested for, drugging women, they started the Me Too movement. When unarmed people started getting shot, they started the Black Lives Matter movement. So movements are started off of passion, started off of purpose. When you mix your passion with your purpose, that's how movements are started. Civil rights movement, because Martin Luther King and all those civil rights leaders had a passion and they knew their purpose. And you put them together and you make an impact.
Mm, okay, yeah, I like that. And what role does culture play in scaling an organization? What role does culture play in scaling an organization?
Culture is plays everything. It's everything. Um, for example, I just looked on social media today and I see all of these skits, all of these shorts on YouTube, because people are doing the craziest things to monetize, to go viral.
They are.
So so now it's like that's a cultural phenomenon. If you look back in 2001 when the Twin Towers dropped, we didn't have social media like this. Facebook didn't come out in 2004. So back then, how was we communicating? We had to actually go do some research, go to the library, the encyclopedias, all of that. So now, because you can just turn on your phone and see it right now, Facebook has influenced culture. Businesses has been influenced by Facebook. Like now, like if I'm talking to you about somebody and you want to find out who they really are, what are you gonna do? Look them up on Facebook, because these things have shifted. How we do business, how we make money. How some people, if it wasn't for social media, would not have been able to start a business.
Hmm.
And and again, that's not a bad thing. It's just a fact.
Right.
So the business economics are built off of trends, whether the stock price is high, whether it's low.
Yeah, I like that. And I know you this is something you was talking about earlier, you mentioned earlier. How do you ensure a brand doesn't lose its identity as it grows? And I know we mentioned all money, like Denzel said, all money ain't good money,
And
right?
good money, right? Mm-hmm.
And we know that you mentioned earlier a lot of individuals, I won't say people, individuals, they do anything, any and everything to go viral to get monetized, which means they will
Mm-hmm.
sell their own soul just to get some money.
Right.
But that really, how do you ensure a brand doesn't lose its identity as it grows? Sticking to your mission statement, sticking to your assignment, sticking to your purpose, no matter how tough it get. Or because everybody wants to jump on that flavor of the month. But I just
Mm-hmm.
believe in stick to what you do best. That's just me.
So, in order to make sure that the brand doesn't lose its identity, you have to always be consistent and you have to be authentic. Once you start changing, then the brand gonna start changing. Because if you're the entrepreneur, if you're the CEO, excuse me, if you're the CEO and you created it, you're the founder. This is you create the culture. You set the culture for that organization. So when you set the culture, as long as you stay consistent, then the brand stays consistent. But that also goes back to something I said earlier. You have to be careful with depending on what your brand is. Because if you're an MMA fighter, then you getting caught in a bar brawl ain't gonna hurt your brand.
Right.
It may help it, you know. So you have to understand what your brand is, and that's another thing. You have to make sure that what you do, because everybody has bad moments, off moments, good moments, up and down moments. But you have to make sure that what you do publicly doesn't hurt your brand. And a lot of people don't realize that in the heat of the moment or when things go bad. But it's like you always have to remember somebody somewhere is gonna be like, I was in that car and I saw you. I was on a bus and I saw you. You walked past the restaurant. I saw you in CVS. I saw you in Walmart down the deodorant aisle. Like, so you have to maintain your consistency and who you are and what you do, be integral. And as long as you stay consistent and stay passionate, it's going to remain the same. It's not, you're not going to deflate.
Yeah, I like that. I'm thinking about, as you was talking, that made me think about Jeff Bezos when he started Amazon. He started
Hmm.
Amazon from his garage,
Right.
and he worked from there. And look at Amazon is a multi-million dollar business, right?
Multi-billion
So,
dollar billion.
but he started from his garage, and you have
Hmm.
to start somewhere. But he stayed true to his brand. He didn't
Hmm.
he didn't deviate from his brand, but he stayed to his brand. I tell anybody,
Right.
knowing your market, knowing your audience, what are you doing it for, and stick to it. 'Cause I know a lot of
Hmm.
time, individuals get discouraged.
Right.
They see, because we see on social media, we see with podcasting now, everybody is somewhat doing the same thing. When I say the same thing, if for shock value, when I say shock value,
Yeah.
they'll jump on everything. Someone get caught up. Now everybody want to jump on it. 'Cause they think, oh, if I jump on that, that's gonna get me some views. That's gonna give me some subscribers. They'll give me some audience. But after that's over with, what else you got to stand on next?
Right.
And we see the individuals like that, they disappear because they go off with trends instead of sticking to their identity.
Right.
They want to go. They
Yep.
follow trends because they want to think that's gonna get them the most subscribers. They gonna get them more monetized quicker if they talk about foolishness. When I got off into, as before, quote unquote, podcasts and media, I just want to have some impactful, meaningful conversations. I wanted things where when people tune in, that they're learning something, they're gaining something. And with the guests that I have on here, they're knowledgeable in what they do, that they can help the fellow listener, I
Hmm.
believe, in enhancing their life and become the better version of themselves instead of just doing shock value or do things to
Right.
manipulate people or what they say, gaslight someone. But that's why
Right.
I got into was meaningful impact, influence people, but influence people in the right way. Because either we can influence someone in the wrong way or the right way. And we are in that, like I said, being public figures. And when you're a public figure, it is a big responsibility, right? Because
Right.
people are constantly watching you, but also people do look up to you, and
Right.
we want to make sure that we are in the best position possible, because we don't want nobody to follow. We don't want nobody to stumble and fall. And I know a lot of times people do that. They will stumble and fall because they see someone and it messes them up. And I don't want to be held accountable for that.
Right.
So that makes a lot of sense. So we're gonna get off into something else: strategy, thinking, and leadership. And that's gonna be our next one. What does high level strategy look like that most people don't see or understand?
High level strategy. Um, High level strategy, I think the best way I can explain it is teamwork. The high level strategy goes with successful team building and successful team communication. When the team is strong and communicating the right way and everybody's on their game, that's when you get the best strategy because everybody's motor is turning. Everybody killing the game. So I think the best way, um, what this high level strategy is the team, everybody's clicking, everybody's communicating, and everybody is on the same page. So it's basically teamwork.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I know we had some more questions. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to skip over some. We at that time frame. And respect for
Okay.
people's time, of course. So we're gonna get out into some legacy and impact. It's gonna be our closing, right? When it's
hmm
all said and done, what do you want your legacy to be as a builder and strategist?
I want them to say three things. One, when it came down to our people, I stood 10 toes down for our people, always. Two, I want them to say that no matter what it is, that brother was super resourceful. And three, I want them always to say that if he always was himself, always was true to who he was, never tried to be anybody else.
I like that. I like that. And also my next one for you, Nathaniel. What does building an empire truly mean to you?
An empire is, and it's the best way I can describe it. It's like, let me see, what's his name? Okay.
Oh yeah, I'll just put your
Um,
Instagram on. Yeah.
the best way I can describe, um, it's like how Martin Luther King said he had a dream. So he had a dream. He helped make the dream. He helped put the foundation in place so the dream could come true. But he didn't get to see the dream actually come true. So a lot of times when you're building empires, you're building something that you're gonna die before it ends. This empire is gonna go, what I'm building now is gonna go on way beyond me or my kids or their kids. This thing is gonna be like into institutions.
Right.
Like it's gonna be ingrained in society and what we do.
Man, that's what's up right there. And also before going any further, y'all make sure y'all go follow Nathaniel Moore on Instagram at the Moore Brand CEO. One word, it's right there across the street. Y'all make sure y'all go ahead and follow him on Instagram and make sure y'all get all the latest updates, all the things that's going on with the Moore Brand CEO. So my next question for you as well, Nate, where can people tap into your work, your vision, and what you're building next?
Um Currently right now, I am building a few platforms. I have a man's point of view podcast.
Okay.
I'm looking to get out of from the camera and get behind the camera. So I will be doing a search for one or two hosts for a man's point of view. And then I have a sister podcast called A Woman's Point of View. And I'm looking for women hosts who, fit the criteria that can bring excellent content to that brand. I also have another platform called No Labels, where it's a Christian roundtable where we discuss all things church, good, bad, ugly, and different. And then I'm working on a platform called Entrepreneurial Spotlight, where I highlight entrepreneurs who are doing amazing things. I don't have to know you. I don't have to like you. If I see you doing something amazing, I'm gonna highlight it, make a post, make the flyer, and I'm gonna push you to the networks. And outside of that, I'm still doing my advocacy work, fighting for social justice and fighting for, a lot of different causes. And I'm in the process of building a news network that is going to be the rival to CNN, because a lot of times when we see news, we are misrepresented. And when I say we, I mean blacks and minorities. We are
Right.
misrepresented in the news. Our story isn't told our way. And slowly but surely, they're tearing down platforms that have helped black people get to success. BET and BET Plus is being folded up into Paramount. And there's really no black networks that are owned by black people. And this is why I want to make sure that I create something that's integral, and you tell the news, you tell the information without any bias, and always have facts, and not sold one way or the other, not be in nobody's pocket, not be, a flunky for nobody. But we need to be able to tell our story our way. We need to be able to have creatives who have amazing content, documentaries, shows, movies from independent, creatives. We need to be able to have people that do TED Talks, that tell us about our history, that talk about slavery, because these things will not be talked about on ABC and on CNN and TV. Like, they're not going to talk about that. So we need people who are historians, who are black historians, to get out in front of the public and tell kids and tell people their history. It, we shouldn't be made to feel bad to talk about our history. Our history is slavery. That's just the way it is. And what to me is what angers me and makes me so passionate about this is because I'm not really upset at racism. I'm upset that when I mention racism, it caused the issue. That's my problem. Racism was born into the fabric of this country. It's embedded into the fabric. When you say racism, you automatically gonna attack America because it's built on that. But that's not my issue. I don't fight racism. I fight the people that keep the systematic racism alive. Systematic racism is, you know what? If I go to Burger King, they may slight me and not slight, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
racism isn't something really as out bold. It's something systematic that you don't really see that's embedded into everyday lifestyle. And so I want to create all of those platforms, and again, I want to create a media empire that in another 10 years, I'll be able to hire people. I'll be able to help people pay their car notes and get 401k and take care of their family. I'll be able to create something that people are able to buy their first house. They'll be able to retire off of. They'll be able to sustain their family, complete their dreams, start their businesses off of something that I created. And so that's what really drives me, and that's what I'm working on.
Oh man, I love it. I love it. I love it, Nathan. I love a man of color. Because I do believe we are the original. I honestly, I do believe we are the original people. We are the original
Absolutely.
man, and it's he is waking us up. We're actually going back to our identity, going back to who
Hmm.
we are. We are the builder. We are the structure, and I love what Jay Z said on the interview. We played defense too long. It's time for us to
Now it's
start
time to
playing
play
offense.
offense.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, we've been playing that too long, but I love it. I love it, Nathaniel. I love your vision. I love your drive. I love your passion. And we want to thank Nathaniel for coming on here today. He is the founder of the Moore Brand LLC. So y'all go ahead and make sure y'all follow him right now on all social media platforms. So go ahead and follow him right now on Instagram at the Moore Brand CEO. One word. Go ahead and follow Nate. Get all the information, all the updates, and also Nathaniel. How can people get informed? How can they support? How can they plug in? How can they lock in with you?
Um, so you can find me on Facebook at Nathaniel Moore. I have two Instagram pages. One is personal, one is business. The personal one is the More Brand CEO. The business one is the More Brand. And then on Facebook, I have a More Brand page, but the old one still has the circle logo. The new one has the bar logo. So when you see the More Brand Facebook page, look for the one that has the bar logo instead of the circle logo. Also, for more information, you can text at 518-227-0174. You can get any type of updates, information, any find ways to donate or sponsor, or just collaborate or be in partnership. I'm always open to connect with creatives, entrepreneurs. If you're looking to open up a business, if you're looking to create a show, create a platform, create vision, bring your vision to life, I'm the person that you want to talk to.
And that's what's up. I appreciate you once again, Nathaniel, as well, man. Big shout out to you, all the work that you're
I
doing.
appreciate it.
And also, man, I love to collab. I love to connect with you, man. I really appreciate. I love the dialogue. I love to see, like I said, men of color. As yourself, they're doing something positive. They're doing some structure, not operating in chaos, but operating in structure and order. We need to see more. We need to see more men, black men, that's in a positive light. We see too much of us in this negative world. We want to drink, smoke, club, womanize, do all kind of crazy stuff on social media. They need to see men of color that's doing some structure and doing something positive, men of integrity, men that have character, men that have value. That's what we need to be showing more of on these platforms instead of the negative stuff they're pushing out there on these platforms, especially when it comes to our young men. Because our young men need to see men. Our young
Right.
men, I see our young men, they don't have no drive. They have no ambition. They don't have no initiative. More of
Mm,
our young boys are getting incarcerated. These young boys don't have
right.
any work. I work in the law system. I work in law enforcement. And I had this young man, he didn't have no work ethic at all. 21 years old, no work ethic, no drive, depend on mama. And that's what we going,
Mm-hmm.
and he's being fair at, even though he's 21 years old. We know that did not happen overnight. That's something that built up to we had today. So we seeing more of our young men falling by the wayside, and we got to get
Right.
them back on the path of righteousness, because we are called to be righteous people. That's what the scriptures say. So we got to get
Right.
back on that path. I do believe that.
That's right.
So I'm about to get to let you go, Nate. I appreciate you. I know you got some work you got to be
I
done. I
appreciate it,
appreciate
man.
you. Appreciate you
I
as
def
well.
I
So
enjoyed it, man.
oh, it was, man. It was healthy dialogue. I appreciate the structure, the flow of everything. So, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank everybody that watched us today. Everybody watched us on YouTube. Thank everybody watched us on Instagram as well. I want to give a shout out to everybody. Big shout out to Transforming Division. Big shout out to Miss K. I had her on the show this past Saturday. Big shout out to her watching. Also, big shout out to my beautiful sister, Coach Shay, in the building on the Instagram side. She did say yes. Proper position is everything. So big shout out to her on the Instagram. Big shout out to Mahogany that was on the YouTube side with her comment and question as well. I always want to acknowledge the people that's always supporting us, rocking with us on a regular basis. I will be back here
That's
tomorrow
awesome.
on the Just Saying podcast with my lovely teammate Lo. We're gonna be live streaming on tomorrow. Man, we gotta do 2 shows tomorrow. We got 11 o'clock mid-morning show at 11, and then we got a 5 o'clock show on the Just Saying platform. And also I'll be back this coming Saturday with the Walk in His Ways with Nancy C out of Miami, Florida on our Sabbath edition, of course, this coming Saturday. So make sure y'all follow us. Big shout with the brand that we got, Gateway 8082. That is our brand here in the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas metropolitan area. So I always want to acknowledge that. What we got, who we got in the comments said me, Jackson, Big CEO checking in. Me, Jackson, Big CEO
Shout
checking
out
in.
to shout out to you,
Yeah.
Jackson, big CEO.
Okay, me, Jackson, checking in, Big CEO. Big shout out to you, big shout out to you as well. So I want to acknowledge that as well also. So, man, we about to get ready to go, man. We about to get ready to depart. Man, y'all have a great Tuesday, and I will see y'all tomorrow on the Just Saying podcast with me and Lo. So have a great night, everybody.
Peace.